big business has used its deep pockets to contribute to COVID-19 related aid. Musicians are using their voices. Artists from across the continent have teamed up to create a song to help governments drive important messaging around COVID-19 and to also encourage citizens to play their part in fighting the virus. Two of the artists on that song, South African rapper Riky Rick and Zimbabwean-born Sha Sha, join us on the show to tell us more about it and also the campaign. Before we get into that discussion, let's take a listen to what the song sounds like. Right, there you go. Just a sneak teaser of what it sounds like. Of course, you will be hearing a lot more of it on your airwaves. But to introduce Riky Rick and Sha Sha, thanks to the both of you for joining us on the show. I must say I respect the both of you and I love both of your music as artists. I'd also like to speak to you exactly about the song, and perhaps Riky Rick, if you can just help us kick off the conversation here, help us understand exactly what the rationale behind coming together as artists at this time to create the song was. And you know, we didn't get to play a lot of it, but I did notice that it is in many languages. Exactly what is the song saying?
Well, thank you for having us on. I mean, basically, you know, we all know music is one of the greatest tools to spread a message and to let people know about an initiative that you're working on. So everybody has been doing their best trying to get the message out, how to keep people safe during this time, how to take care of yourselves. So we got together with Brand SA and you know, some of the greatest artists right now in Africa and in South Africa, and decided that we can actually help drive the message a bit further by getting together musically, and this is what we have.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And Sha Sha, just to bring you in here, because listening to your latest album, you have collaborated with African or other African artists quite closely in your latest release. And I'd like to speak to you about the impact that you think that such collaboration amongst artists in the music industry has for the continent's music industry as a whole.
Man, I feel like, you know, music is like Riky just mentioned just now, is the best instrument right now, you know, to, you know, get the awareness out there. And I feel like, you know, music is such it's a powerful thing. And having to work with these artists, it's just been really, really, really amazing.
And then, I mean, given the whole dynamics of social distancing and the fact that everyone probably lives in different countries over here, just tell us exactly how it is that you guys were able to get together and get your vocals all together for this song. Riky?
We've got to thank the inventors of the World Wide Web. The internet has done so much to help artists get together, even during this hard time. We can't be in studio together. And even before, we've been working on songs over the internet, but this time has sort of validated working online. And we've been able to get, seven, eight artists all together in one space, you know, via the internet. So, I mean, that's something truly amazing. And, you know, the internet's for us here to use now, and we're getting used to it, and it's great.
Yeah.
Certainly, I'd like to speak with you guys about just in your individual capacities, how COVID-19 has impacted you as artists and also your business. And Sha Sha, to bring you in here, because I don't know how far you were in promoting your latest album and what kind of plans you had to go out there and do events and concerts and things like that, things that you can no longer do right now. How has this pandemic impacted you, and what's your thinking around how you come out of this a relevant artist still?
Well, I am definitely, at this point I'm actually working on another album. That was an EP before, just to clear that out. But yeah, I'm actually working on my album, and I mean, right now it's definitely, it was definitely frustrating, you know, that I'm not able to go out there and do what I used to do. But right now I'm just really using this time to, you know, obviously get as much work, as much of my album done, really. And to be honest with you, I've been getting more in touch with my spiritual self, because you get so lost in the noise and in the drama and in the distractions and all that stuff. So, you know, there's definitely positive that I came out with, out of this situation, even though it's such a really, you know, uh, it's really trying times right now.
No, certainly trying times for all, business, for governments, for individuals. And Riky, to bring you in here as a more established artist in the music industry and also as a change maker in fashion as well, how has the pandemic impacted your line of work, and how are you thinking around, you know, repositioning your brand post the virus?
Well, it's been a bit of a gift and a curse. But to tell you the truth, you know, business wise and financial wise, that hasn't been in the front of my head too much, because we've always gone on a roller coaster of losing money and gaining money and losing money and gaining money. So I'm pretty much used to the idea that we're always going to have to fall to rise, you know. But mentally and spiritually, this has been a time, you know, that came unexpectedly, that has sort of enhanced the relationship I have with my family. It's given me time to be at home with my children. Um, and I'm trying to focus on that side, because there's, as much as there's very negative sides to this and the effects are going to be devastating for a lot of people, there's also a positive side that brings us closer to the people around us, that makes us cherish relationships that we have. And I've been focusing a lot on that side. So I'm not really trying to forecast into where I'm going to be next year as an artist or a businessman. I'm really focused on what bond this is going to build with my family and those people that I really love, and the people that I didn't get a chance to tell that I love when we were running all around the city. So the calm has been something that I've appreciated a lot, and I've decided to really put a lot of my focus on.
Riky, I must admit, I have been to one of your performances, and it is quite notable just how much you tell your fans, how much you love them throughout your performances. So don't feel too bad for not sharing the love on that front. Sha Sha, to bring you in here, and I'd just like to engage you guys as not only artists, but also as fellow civilians within your respective societies. As you've been seeing governments make action and respond to the coronavirus and try to do what is in the best interests of the economy, what's your view on how best they have supported the music industry, and perhaps what more they could do to support your industry and fellow artists like yourselves? Sha Sha?
Well, I feel like already with, you know, initiatives like these right now, like having to be, you know, unite all these artists and have these artists on songs that obviously raise the awareness of this situation that we are facing right now. I feel like that's definitely already, that's something that's, you know, obviously helping the situation. And I feel like, you know, they are really doing a great job. I mean, there's so many what should I say, funds that are out there that are, you know, obviously um, donating to certain organizations to obviously help, you know, this situation, be it the hospitals, be it the resources to, you know, obviously help this situation right now that we're going through.
And Ricky,
Yeah.
yourself, because there was a major political party in South Africa that set aside some monies. It was the EFF, to be specific, that set aside some monies to help artists in the music industry, because many people have been saying that the music industry hasn't really been supported strongly enough by government. What's your take here? And perhaps maybe if you could advise government on how better they could support the industry, what would you say?
Well, it's a bit of from my perspective, it's a bit of a tricky situation. It's difficult for us to navigate through this with the government, because even the government didn't expect this. Nobody expected this, and the government has tried to pull together funds for artists and sportsmen alike. We've been bundled into sort of one category, artists and sportsmen. And they put out 150 million to support artists and sportsmen. It was a good move, but to tell you the truth, even sometimes a good move with good intentions just might not be enough. So with us running out of money to help people come out of this situation, I think it falls on artists to pick up other artists, and it falls on artists to assume a leadership responsibility where we're able to help other artists through this time. I've always been of the belief that government is only there to create an environment for us to succeed, but we have to make ourselves succeed. So even through this crisis, it's going to be very difficult, and everyone's going to be looking to government. But I think leaders in our industry can also play a big role in pulling people together and helping people set up plans and put people in the right mind frame to be able to move forward. We obviously have to share the responsibility, but there's only so much you can do. We're a very poor country, and we can't compare ourselves to some of these countries that are spending billions and billions on helping, to helping their citizens make through. But as artists, we've become friends along the road. We have a responsibility to sort of try help those close to you. If every artist helps two people close to them, we'll make it through this period. We'll make it through this period. If everybody helps one person, we'll make it through this period. So
For sure.
government is doing what they can do, but sometimes good intentions are not enough for everybody. So we got to start looking at ourselves and start helping each other and put each other onto ideas and new work, because we're going to need innovation, and we're not going to get innovation in the music field from government. We're going to get innovation from the music field, from the artists and the people that participate in the field.
Sure. So just quickly, we are out of time, but on the flip side of that, because it's government, but it's also the private sector that needs to be quite supportive and accommodative of all industries, including music. So just one comment regarding what you think, the private sector and record labels and owners of music rights and the like could also be doing in this time to ensure that the industry on the continent as a whole comes out of this a little bit stronger. Sha Sha?
Well, I feel like they could definitely, we are all, it's a digital age, and there's the internet, and I feel like there's a lot to explore in that. There's a lot to be done in that space. So I don't want to, obviously babble much, but really keeping it simple as there's a lot to be done in that space with the internet. We're living in a digital age. It could work for them, and they could maximize.
If I can just say one thing, it's very important, especially for me as a hip hop artist, and especially for me as a hip hop artist and just a music lover all around. Musicians, we are a profession that's been around forever. Our job is to entertain people, and we haven't been in a mind frame. A lot of musicians haven't been in a mind frame that music is a business. So we're lacking a lot of business education, especially when it comes to the music side, and that's not going to get fixed in the 6 months, 12 months that we're going to be going through this crisis. But when things get back to normal, and when people can start making moves again, and when people can start setting the new, now building the new platforms and the new foundations for how the music industry is going to work further, it's going to be very important that information and the business side is something that we emphasize for all artists. New artists, artists that have been around. It's going to be very important for us to continue to educate ourselves on what's happening on our industry, because if you ask a lot of musicians what the state of the whole music industry is, we wouldn't be able to tell you the answer, because we've just never taken the time to really to seek the information on where the opportunities are. And we're grateful for Brand SA for coming and pulling musicians together and helping musicians do something and be active and use their voices during this time. And a lot of companies have been doing that. But the true people who are going to really survive this and look back like we did great are people who are going to innovate, in the next 9 to 12 months.
Sure.
Very true, very true. As a lot of business people on the show say, it's the people that are going to manage tomorrow. But the trick is figuring out what that tomorrow is going to look like so that you can better manage it. But nonetheless, guys, thanks so much for your time. We will leave it there. That was South African rapper Riky Rick and also Zimbabwean-born music artist Sha Sha joining us on the show, unpacking the business of music and also the latest initiative in which artists have teamed together to help spread the message around COVID-19.